Hey everyone, welcome to the DarkCast. I'm your host, Jonathan Miley. The DarkCast is usually a bi-weekly discussion celebrating and critiquing video games. The show is divided up into multiple conversations between myself and various writers here on DarkStation.com. I hope this episode finds you safe and well. I recently got to play Watch Dogs Legion, and so I sat down with Joel Zerlip and Alan Kessinger to talk about my hands-on time with it. This is only part one of our discussion because there's a 20-minute time limit on video game footage that I can share in one video, so we split our conversation into two to kind of provide as much video coverage as I could. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I hope you enjoy the footage of Watch Dogs Legion that you get to see. If you want to find out more information about the game, including links to the other part, as well as my written preview and an interview that I got to do with one of the producers on the game, then check out the show notes for this episode below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the DarkCast. I'm Jonathan Miley. Joining me for this episode is Joel Zerlip.
Hey, it's good to be back.
And Alan Kessinger.
It is also good to be back.
And yes, it is great to be here. We have some exciting stuff to talk about. Recently, I got to play Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. The new game's coming out from Ubisoft as part of the Ubisoft Forward event thing that they're doing in lieu of E3 2020, and so I played like 3 hours of each. We're talking about Watch Dogs right now.
Because you haven't said the subtitle for those games, this could be any year.
Oh, yes. That is
yes,
true. That is
you need
true.
to be specific.
Who knows what we're talking about?
We're nothing if not thorough.
Watch Dogs Legion and Assassin's Creed Valhalla were the games that I played. So Watch Dogs Legion. It surprised me. I was not excited going into this game at all. I've never really liked a Watch Dogs game before, which has recently changed. But the whole, like, you can play as anybody in London shtick was like, that sounds like some crap Peter Molyneux would say.
I'm pretty sure he did say that, actually, at some point.
But yeah, I think we've got it on record somewhere.
Well, interesting tie to Fable. There is a private military organization that is secured or, kind of, invaded London, and they are called Albion, and Albion is the name of the country in Fable.
That's right.
So, there we go.
They're all connected, finally.
They are. This is Watch Dogs Legion is actually Fable 4. Little known fact.
You're playing as Agent Chicken Chaser.
This is going well. This is going
Chicken Chaser.
This is going real well. My one question, and Alan, I know you played it at E3 last year. Jonathan, how was being everyone and anyone? How was that mechanic?
It was so wild. It's actually really cool. This part of the game that I got to play was the very beginning intro where you play a secret agent who is trying to like disable this bomb and stuff, and then DedSec, who are the hackers in the Watch Dogs universe, they get framed for it, and that's when Albion comes in and kind of takes over. And then I got dumped somewhere like in the middle of the game where I already had a kind of cadre of hackers. When I kind of got dumped into the open world part, I don't even remember who she was. It was a random lady. She had a weird like sci-fi visor on her face, and I started just like walking down the street, and you can scan people as you walk down. So if anybody's played Watch Dogs, they're familiar with being able to like hold the left bumper and see a person's name, their vocation or their job, how much they make, and, you know, maybe like read their text or something like that. And then you can distract them, or you can wire money from them and whatever. And so all of that is still the case, but now you can press the, I think it's the start button, and go into this thing called the Deep Profiler. And every single person in London and Watch Dogs has a daily routine. They go to work, they go play chess with their sister, they go to the bar, then they go home and they sleep, or, you know, whatever. And when you look at this Deep Profiler, you can see potential problems that they're having, where you can like investigate further and like basically get them to join DedSec. And so literally anybody that you see walking down the street, you can recruit to be part of the hacker group that is now gone from just being like hacktivists to being this underground resistance. And so the very first person that I recruited was super simple. I was literally walking down the street. I saw a lady being harassed by a security guard. And when I brought up the little, not even like the Deep Profiler, but just holding the left bumper, I saw that she was a friend with a DedSec member. And so I just go up and beat the crap out of the guard. And so because she already had a positive opinion of DedSec, because I saved her, she then was like, hey, you're DedSec, I want to join. And then she was part of my roster of recruits. Later on, I found a hitman who I wanted to have join DedSec, and he wanted nothing to do with this. So there's an AI that DedSec has called Bagley. And Bagley recommended that I look at some of the potential problems he has and see where I can help. And I went and hacked a CTOS, the citywide operating system thing that's in the game, for him. And then when I went back to meet him, I found that he was gone. So I had to go and question somebody else where had this guy disappeared to, and they said that he got captured by some people that are part of a group called Clan Kelly, which is basically the organized criminal organization in the game. And so I had to break into this small little compound and free him. And once I did, he was now thrilled to become part of my squad. I only recruited 4 total people in my couple of hours of playing, and one of them actually took a long time. So I found a security guard that I was like, this would be great. I'm gonna get an Albion employee to be on my team. And so this was both a long and drawn out process, because obviously he didn't trust DedSec, but also because I kind of broke the system as I was playing this. So I go up to the guy, and he tells me that he and a bunch of his coworkers have recently been laid off, and he wants me to investigate like the replacements that have replaced them. And so I'm like, cool, yeah, I'll go do that. I go get in my car, and as I'm pulling around, he walks in front of me. And because people kind of get scared when you drive near them in these games and in a lot of open world games, he jumped out of the way, but instead of jumping out of the way, he actually jumped in the way, and I ran over him. But I didn't kill him, thankfully. So I failed the mission because I ran over him, because now he doesn't like me anymore, or he likes me less. And so when I go in to try to do a mission for him, that mission is completely gone, and a new mission is in its place, where apparently he's a hacker who hacks into hospitals to uncover like illegal organ black markets. And so I had to go hack something for him for that, and then I found an ambulance that had some of the black market organs in them, so I took that and dropped it off near a hospital so that, people could actually use them and not just make, be sold for blood money or whatever. And then he joined my group. So obviously, like, that's not supposed to happen, where somebody's story completely changes. And I got to talk with Sean Crooks, who's the lead producer on the game, and he said that basically every time you go up and talk to somebody and pick up missions and stuff like that to do for people to win them to your cause. The game is like dynamically curating stories and missions with people, and it's trying to make those missions and stories make sense with what somebody does for a living. And he said that obviously that's still being curated, and that's being tweaked, but in that section I could see where, like, okay, this is kind of all being held together by duct tape, but it's a massive...
But it's not procedurally generated, right?
No.
It is all somewhat... there's some sort of massive spreadsheet happening in the background of this thing.
Well, so there's a massive spreadsheet where certain, like the hitman that I picked up, he was like handcrafted. But a lot of people they're not procedurally generated, so it's not like every time you go into the game it's going to be different people. But everybody's not just handcrafted. People are actually kind of like systemically created based on usually their occupation. It seems like is the main factor. So when you go to banks, you're going to find bankers, and they're going to like, I don't know, a spreadsheet doesn't do it justice. Maybe like a access database matrix or something like that.
Sure. The way that you described that sounds cool, but like, okay, you're on the street. I know they showed like an old lady, I think it was on their E3 demo last year. Did you just tend to stick with one person the entire 4 hours you played?
No, so I basically moved around so I started with my random lady that I don't remember because I literally only played with her for like 5 minutes, because after I beat up that guard and freed the lady that was being harassed, this lady is a famous beatboxer, mind you, so obviously she had to be on my team. But after I did that, a bunch of other guards came in, and I had no idea how the combat worked, and I didn't die. You don't die in the game. You get arrested. So then that character is out of play for like half an hour. So after that lady got arrested, I then chose to be a street artist, who was a guy with like a hoodie that had paint all over it, and he had a taser, which I think everybody starts off with a taser. So non-lethal play is actually a pretty big part of the game. You can use some characters, like the street artist, uses a paintball gun instead of a regular gun, and so when you shoot them, it dazes them. You can walk up and do like a finisher move on them. But
now, are you fighting? Are you fighting police, or are you fighting Albion?
You're fighting Albion.
Okay.
Which that's kind of one concern. I didn't put anything about it in my review because I couldn't figure out how to really word it, and maybe I'll be able to here, or maybe it'll just be worse. But on the one hand, I understand them not wanting to be like, hey, you just need to like overthrow the British government, because in most games where you do any sort of overthrowing, it's a fictional country or something like that. So, the Just Cause games where you're going in as Rico Rodriguez to blow everything up, it's always a fake place. And so since this is London, on the one hand, I totally understand them not wanting to be like, hey, let's just have the government be bad. But, and maybe this is just 2020, but I'm like, you know what? I feel like this would hit a lot harder if instead of some random fictional PMC came in and they're the bad guys, if the government was just bad, because, there are a lot of governments that are kind of just bad.
I mean, they kind of frame it a little bit like that, because isn't it like always set up to where like it's the government that allows the CTOS system to,
or at least in 2 especially.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't recall there's ever a thing where it's like, okay, we're taking this straight to the top. We're gonna barge into the governor's office and tell him to knock it off. You're just going after the CTOS people,
right?
I'm pretty sure Ubisoft's pissed about Brexit. Both Valhalla and Legion are both anti the UK.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not a big Boris guy either, but it seems kind of crazy that they have 2 games that are where the goal is to take down the British government. But
yeah, well, so in this one, you're not taking down the British government, you're taking down Albion. Or actually, there's some nefarious force called Zero Day that is here, and it's mucking about. So Zero Day, Albion, and Clan Kelly are the 3 bad guys that I know about as of right now. But so one of the cool things about all of this is, like I mentioned with the street artist who has like the paintball gun, he also has like paint grenades. So every character, their job kind of influences what skills they have. So the hitman, he had a like dodge evasive role that he could do, and he also came equipped with like an assault rifle and a Desert Eagle pistol. Spies come equipped with watches that can jam guns. They have silenced pistols, and I didn't actually get to play with it, but apparently there's like a James Bond car that shoots rockets. And one of the characters I did play as, who was an old lady, but not the old lady, was a construction worker. And so she had a giant, like, monkey wrench, and there's a whole new social stealth element to the game, almost like Hitman, where since I was a construction worker, I was able to enter a construction site without being detected. And then once I was detected because I was, doing nefarious things, I just beat people up with my wrench. And then I escaped by calling a cargo drone, which is like the construction worker's super special ability that comes down, and I was able to basically just hop on that and fly away. So there's a lot of really cool special characters, and I'm sure because of the way things are generated, there's neat and special characters out there that even the studio doesn't actually know about because of the way that it's the game is piecing together this location with this character model with this these attributes and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it seems like it's all held together with duct tape, but it seems like a marvelous picture made out of duct tape.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for this part of our Watch Dogs Legion discussion. Thank you for listening and watching. Be sure to check out part 2. You can keep up to date with all of our videos and podcasts if you follow us on YouTube and iTunes and Twitter and Facebook and all the places where you can follow us. For Alan Kessinger and Joel Zerlip, I'm Jonathan Miley. Thanks again, and until next time, be safe out there. Be good to each other, and have a good one.
What now?